it's Kay and Hattie from Bit Much Babe. If you are enjoying this podcast, please make sure that you like and subscribe our channel on YouTube. You can also like and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave a little 5-star review, leave a little comment, but be nice about it. And please just keep engaging with us, as it means a lot. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's really, really cheap. And just do it.
It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything.
It's not cheap. It's free.
Share it to all your friends. Share it to people you like. Share it to people you don't like. We don't really care. Just share it. Okay?
Follow us on Instagram.
And
You just really want more followers on Instagram. And if you work for Tatty Lashes, message us.
That's not how I want to approach them.
We have a Patreon.
Hattie, can you talk into the microphone, please?
Our Patreon is going to be called Much Love Babe. The space where basically we have a look at the problems or the bit muches that you've sent in, and we have a little discussion about them. It's where kind of, I think, we'll delve into our personal lives a little bit more and talk about our problems and just kind of.
We might not even redact names.
We might not even redact names.
Shit tea.
Yeah, shit tea.
We love getting your DMs. Not all of them. But we love most of your DMs, and we love having the repartee. And this is a way of us formalising said repartee, because you get to email us your stuff and what you think is a bit much, or if you think yourself you're being a bit much, or things are a bit much, and we get to talk to you about whether they are a bit much.
Subscribe to it for £3, £5 or £10 a month, and you get all the exclusive content. You get early access to our main episodes that will come out on Saturdays, and our Patreon exclusives will come out on Thursdays. The more our Patreon grows, the more kind of amazing stuff we will get to do. We can take Ben on the corridor.
Oh, we can take Ben on the corridor.
Your support so far has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And we just want to kind of give something back to you, but obviously only for money.
Feminism. See you on the Patreon. Welcome to Bit Much Babe, the podcast by two girls who've typically been seen as a bit much, talking about things that we think are a little bit much. Hello.
Hello.
This is nice. It's early again. It's early on a Sunday. But last week we pulled that one out of the bag, actually.
We did pull that one out
because
the bag.
we didn't really think we would. I'll be honest. We did not.
No, we didn't. But we did a lovely app with
Little Cal
that I'm sure you'll have all seen by now, and it was lovely and chaotic, and
God, it made me giggle.
And he had a mad look in his eye that we all know far too well.
Do you think that's what happens when you get people on the tired? Do you know what I mean? Because you are
sorry,
no. Because you are just a bit like the filters have gone. Survival.
How are you?
Extremely well. We've got quite a fun episode today, haven't we? Because it's not, there's a couple, we're doing some news. We're doing news today. So it's just me and Kay. I say just, more than enough. So I'm having a baby.
I was going to say, so it's not just you and me.
Yeah.
It's you, me
and the baby.
And a plus one.
Yes, two babes and a baby. And three babes and a baby.
Three babes and a baby.
So this is, and actually well done Team Bit Much for keeping it all under your hat. You did very well, both of you. And obviously we'll have put on the trailer Simon Wozniak just flying straight in with the request.
Are you pregnant, yeah? I was like, oh, fucking ask that question. On pod. Are you pregnant yet? Fucking Simon, have some social decorum.
But you know what? I sort of, and it made me realise how within comedy, obviously I've spoken about it a lot, because you can't not when you're doing IVF, mainly because, that week of the hormones, I sort of had to say to people, listen, SARS, whatever happens. But then I sort of realised that my lot all know, but I hadn't seen Simon for such a long time, so I hadn't told him. But we also are not going to spend this whole podcast talking about me being pregnant, because one thing I'm very aware of and very grateful for is how many of you have DM'd and messaged and said to me and that, you're in the middle of various different stages of trying for a baby, be that IVF, be it natural, be it, just having, deciding what you want about it. And I don't want this to be the pregnancy pod. So what we're going to do is talk about it properly on Patreon, so that people who want to listen and are interested can zap in, and the rest of you who unfairly don't give a flying fuck about me being pregnant, that's completely fine. We will talk about other things, but we thought we'd address it up top, because also increasingly it's going to become very, very obvious on the internet. It's not. Thank goodness we have a table. Can
you stand up and show the bum?
I don't know. Is it in the camera? Yeah, I've got it.
Kaboom! And huge tits.
That was my bit much for the week. My tits are unbelievable. I cannot. I am like a teenage boy. I mean, I just play with them the whole time. Having said that, I think they're the biggest boobs that have ever existed. Obviously. Because it's just so, I have reversed Louis C.K.'d more male comedians over the last, like, I have made them, touch them, look at them. I consent? No, not at all. Ishan turned around at one point when I was like, but look at them. George Zach, that's how I told him. I was like, we were in the agreement. Nice. And I was like, look. And he was like, right, so. But Ishan was like, I've got to tell you something. I was like, oh, don't say it, don't say it. And he was like, they are now. I was like, you're going to say normal sized. You're going to say now they're normal sized. And he's not right. But they are massive to me. Mum. I know. So I think I'm going to breastfeed it till it's 18.
That wouldn't be traumatising at all. No, that one.
Just keep them. Safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's that Little Britain sketch?
Bitty. Oh. No. We've spoke about this though, haven't we? How we prefer Come Fly With Me to
it's
Little Britain.
It's not it.
What a massive curveball that was.
But yeah, that's my little bit of news. So I just want to get that up.
It's not a little bit of news. It's really fucking huge, brilliant news.
It's very nice. I feel very lucky. I've had a lovely time. Yeah. But like I said, we will talk about this more on the Patreon.
Because I want to talk about the experience of going to the scan.
Yeah, I know.
I went to a scan with Hat. And I just really wanted to talk about it for a long time.
I would like to talk about that. You will be. I feel, but suffice it to say, all my friends have been quite unbelievable with all of it, and it means heaps. And I'm very lucky, and so it's been a lovely experience thus far.
Touch wood.
Which I think just continues for 18 years. So
yeah, that's what I've heard.
So yeah.
That is what
Forever,
I've heard.
I think. So I think it should just be fine.
It just stays this way.
It is. We've also got other news, haven't we?
Yeah. Have I got to say it?
No, I'm just So basically, this is a bit sadder, but I still think a bit sadder. I was going to love mine because mine's sad. Because mine's the end of my life.
Yours is sad.
But no, this is. It's not sad, actually. We've talked about it for a long time. Kay and I are going to end Bit Much Babe. We will have this episode, 2 more. That will take us to the end of February. And that'll be us done. And the reason for it is totally and completely financial, which is just that we have loved this so much and we're very proud of it and everything we set out to do. I believe we have, and we've maintained that. And not that we've done it and finished it, we're done now, but it's not breaking even. And not only is it not breaking even, it's really not breaking even, and it's just one of those things. And I think you give something absolutely everything you've got, which we absolutely definitely have for the best part of, when did we record the pilot? May of last year? Yeah. So good old, it'll be like 10 months by the time we call this. And we gave it absolutely everything, gave it all our beans, and it's just financially now we're not in a position to sustain it. And I take a lot of that responsibility because otherwise, obviously, my finances now are being so redirected.
Hatty's having a baby, guys.
I've got to have a baby.
She's got to have a baby.
And it's got to have a shoe wardrobe. We're not fucking around with this. It's...
The money that's been going on this podcast is going towards the baby's horse fund.
I was never a horse girl. My grandparents had donkeys. That's the closest I got to being a horse girl.
That is not better. That didn't do what you thought it did.
Because donkeys are funny.
The donkeys are funny.
That is funny.
To be fair. Do you know they've got camels at Blackpool Beach now rather than donkeys?
Stop it.
Yeah.
Where do they get those in?
I don't know. Do you know what they have to look for the lunch as well?
What?
Half an hour, same as the donkeys.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. You're absolutely elated with that, aren't you?
Why are we ending? See, with jokes like this, the money will come flooding.
I mean, where's that been?
My granddad used to tell that joke, I'd say once a
So have they got camels?
No, they haven't got camels, Hattie. It's a joke.
I don't know. I've never been to the beach of Blackpool.
But yeah, so we've made the decision. It's not something that we've done. It's not something that we woke up and just said we're going to end the pod. It's something that we've discussed for a while. And and kind of took a load of things into consideration. There's also, you know, we're at very, very different points in our lives, I think. I think we can say that. And I think there's obviously Hattie has got a massive, massive, massive kind of tits, but also a massive kind of part of their life coming up. And I think, we need to make sure kind of all of the financial focus, but also just soul focus.
Well, time. And also we've talked about this with Kate. Kate's show opened this week and it's all going extremely well, as some of you who've seen the reviews will know extremely well, as I had no doubt it would. But there's also a bit of like, I think we talked about, and I was so ready to be like, this is on me. I just can't sustain it any longer. It's not the right call for me. But actually you made the point, you're like, what things are starting to like tap around this acting stuff, and this acting stuff is practicing around acting and the show, and actually let's see where that goes. And I think this is very much a place where, and we've both said, there is a world where Bit Much Babe comes back massively. There is absolutely a world where what this season has done is laid the groundwork for something that we're both really proud of and have loved, like genuinely loved doing. And so it comes back at a time when we're financially more sound, when our time is more anchored to the ground and we know what we're doing and there's a routine in place. We're just both coming up to chapters of our lives where all that's going up in the air. Yeah. Finances are up in the air. What we're doing is up in the air. That we don't know where we're going to be. I mean, we'd managed to get a pod schedule around your tour for the next 2 months. Just. And it relied on, us changing things and guests having to do, and that's not me throwing it at you, but imagine now when there's 2 of us who are doing that. And I just think it would be chaos. But all this to say, we have loved doing this so much.
And we haven't fallen out. I need to make that really, really fucking clear.
You were worried no one would think.
I'm terrified.
Do you think?
Because we spoke about this, my biggest concern, and it shouldn't be, and I'm working on it, with my journaling, that I'm so preoccupied of what people, it's not just, it's industry, it's people, it's other comedians that I'm, I was like, people are going to think me and Hattie have had this big bust up or whatever, and it's absolutely completely the fucking opposite. Although I did say to Hattie last week in the car, I nearly started crying. I said, please, will you still be my friend?
Yeah, it's cool when your issues really, really swim to the surface like that. I was like, no. What did you think? I was going to be like, actually, no, once we've shut the doors on this podcast, really, truly, I'd like to genuinely never see you again. What did you think was going to happen? You thought I was
that is a possibility.
That I was just going to be like, actually, Kay, it was you all along, and all this has been a complete ruse. I'm not that good an actress, babe.
I genuinely think that is a possibility. You've got loads of friends in Liverpool now.
No. I don't know who you were talking about. No. You and Katie. Yeah. No, I don't know. Right, I have.
But no, we're still madly in love with each other. And Hattie's got to focus on bringing a baby into the world, and I've got to focus on being a terrible auntie.
Yes.
And really focusing on,
but also really getting its Scouse accent on point.
Oh yeah.
Because I just want to torture my West London family with that. I think.
Oh, I'm going to make that baby so scummy.
The most Scouse thing that's ever. I can't wait. It goes home to Chiswick for Christmas.
Chiswick.
No, I do. I'm very excited.
What do you call your grandparents? What were your
my mum's side were grandma and grandpa.
Grandpa?
He decided, apropos of absolutely nothing, that he wanted to be grandpa, which is French. So grandpa. We're not French, have never been French. No part of my family is French, but he decided he wanted to be grandpa. And Grandmary then was like, I'll be grandmère. Again, no one is French. They're from like Cumbria and Tring. Do you know what I mean? Like there was Tring's down south. Oh. Yeah. But Rihanna, my oldest cousin, couldn't distinguish between grandpa and grandmère, obviously, because that's
fair enough, yeah.
A, French, and B, the same. And so she became Grandmary because her name was Mary, but then it just became Grandmary. And then my dad's side of the family, Nana and Grancher. And Grancher's a Forest of Dean word.
Oh, so you said this the week, yeah.
So I believe I'm right about that, but that's where they lived.
That's
so
mad.
What were yours?
Granddad. granddad and, well, my grandma liked to be called grandma. My grandma, who is fucking, I don't know where she has this sense of not being poor. But
because she loves the Royals.
She loves the Royals. She says plaster. With a complete and utter Scouse accent, apart from the word plaster and master. I don't know why.
Master makes sense.
But
Master,
she's
given it.
She wanted to be grandma, but I refer to her as my nan.
Okay.
But I also call her mama, because when I was a kid I couldn't say grandma, so I'd say mama.
What's
and now
French?
on all her birthday cards are mama. No, it's not. It's mama, because I couldn't say grandma, so I say mama.
You
And
sound
then
very French
if
to
I
me.
want something, or if I'm sick,
Mama.
I'm like, mama. Yeah. But yeah, and then my other granddad was granddad as well. And then I didn't have another nan.
Sure, no.
Obviously, I was too working class to have two nans.
Yeah, or a middle name.
Or a middle name.
Yeah.
Just didn't happen. Just didn't happen.
I don't think we talk about this, and I know you are worried about the narrative, or there being a false narrative around why we're ending, which, and I mean this, hadn't crossed my mind. And what is the worry that, and we talked about this, the idea that it's failed.
Yeah.
The idea that we did a thing and everyone was excited about it and we were excited about it and we got a lot of support and it failed. And I just have to tell you, I just don't feel like that in any way, shape or form.
And it isn't that, and it isn't the, yeah, I think I'm naturally one of them. And I think it comes down to the fact that, you are so kind of, I don't know, like in regards to comedy, because you're so much more ahead than I am, as you should be, because you've been going for so long. But you're so established, you're so well respected in this industry.
That's hilarious that you think that.
No, it's true.
But I don't feel that in any capacity.
No, but you're like, the peers you've got are like, you're doing so much with like the Have a Word boys and all that kind of stuff. Can we say that you're...
I don't know if I can. I don't know.
Okay, well, you're doing something else that's quite,
Yeah, then
quite
me and Baby got. We'll talk about that. We got our first
so
job.
it's kind of like, you're fine in a way in regards to
comedy.
Do you
Do you still feel like you're
still
fighting a corner?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you know what's funny is I just think it's so
It's
funny you should say
hard.
that.
It's difficult, especially and being on this pod with you and being linked with you in that way is such a pull for me. And I think, and again, I'd like to make this clear that this is a joint decision. It sounds like what I'm doing is saying, why is Hattie leaving me? It's
Sorry,
not,
it sounds like
decision.
I've scraped my limpet off my boat.
That's
It's
not what's
happened.
Although I'm making it very much like that.
You're not. You're being a
but
big
I
time
think-
superstar on the stage.
But that is a fear that, that it's still fighting.
Do you know what is so funny to me? You're very sweet. I never feel like I'm at a place of having garnered respect or a stable place where I'm rocking and rolling. I still, even when the boys ask me to do like lovely things, like, I Have a Word being so supportive and with the roast things and this nice thing I've got coming up at the end of the year, I always feel like they're doing me a bit of a favour. Like I do, there's always that thing being
Well,
like,
at least you've got people, even if they wear, at least they're doing you favours.
yeah, and it's born out of our friendships and sort of how we all get on as mates. But I also think, and I've thought this for such a long time, it's why I always used to love hosting the open mic at Hot Water on a Monday when it was an open mic. So everyone there was doing 5. They were either new or comics who've been going a bit longer and trying new stuff. The proper, a genuine open mic. There is nothing more brave and wonderful than doing something for the first time. There is nothing more brave and wonderful than doing something you're not good at yet. Now, you happen to be unbelievable at stand-up, even though unfathomably you're 2 years in, and within that 2 years, you've had about a year off.
3 years in with a year off.
3 years in with a year off.
3
okay,
years in
fine.
April.
Oh, it is? Okay, but with like
2.5.
with Magic Mike and the tour, and yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. It's unfathomable, but I don't. I think it's so. I've always felt at least the opposite way around, which is for you to be. It's so exciting to be where you are. It is so exciting to be where you are. Where, who knows what you're going to do? Who knows? People used to say to me when I started, like, the first few years, are you working out your voice? You're working out your voice and you're always kind of like, oh God, but can I just speed this bit up? And you're like, no, that's the best bit. I mean, I'm about to scrap all my material in June. Everything I've written for the last 7 years will be in this, well, not everything, but the show is the show that I'm on tour with at the moment. We'll film it next week. As of June, when this thing turns up, it's gone. It's gone. New like piece of paper. And I'm so excited to see what the voice is now, because already I'm finding that I'm saying stuff on stage, even with just 7 years behind me, being like, I don't think this anymore. Like, I'm not behind it anymore. And what you're doing, yours is so clear, and yet you're so young and you're only a couple of years in. And I think it is the most exciting place to be. I think this pod has for you established how good your brain is, how quick you are, how naturally funny you are, how instinctively good and charismatic you are, either with people or just with us, or just when you're like riffing around and being funny. And I think it's been so, it's so exciting what you've done. And I just, no, don't cry. No, because it's early on a Sunday. Don't, I'm hormonal. Don't stop. But
you don't like it when people cry. Sorry, Hatty doesn't like it when people cry.
No, I hate it. Yeah, I'm like, but you... It's very funny to me that you've been sat here being like, God, aren't I lucky to have shackled myself to Hatty Preston? Or I'm sat here being like,
well, do you feel really lucky?
Well, you shouldn't, because I'm an idiot. But
you're my idiot.
Yeah, I am your idiot for life.
And now I've got a baby idiot.
And now you've got you, and it will be an idiot. That is something I do need you to know. Like, it will be an idiot. We'll talk about that more on Patreon, but I'm pretty sure it's an idiot. But it's, God, it's so exciting. It's so exciting where you're at and where you're going and what you're doing. And I have loved... I have loved what this has done. And I think you don't realise how much respect you've garnered from all of this, from not just, from being my friend, but like from who you are on these podcasts and how you are and just how fucking quick you are. And I'm very glad I just would hate for you to walk away and be like, oh, we failed at making a podcast.
No, I don't think that in the slightest.
We smashed out a series 1 of a podcast that we both have loved doing.
Yes, I love doing. And it's so close to my house.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely. Yeah, geographically,
it's
really
so
proud of what
close
we've done.
to my house.
Really
I'm really proud of what we've done. It's so close to my house.
And we owe Lee everything. Lee at Vessel Studios, which is where we've been recording. We owe him the absolute world. Dream. What a man! What a man! What a mighty good man. Speaking of men, we owe things to. Can't believe this is about to come up my mouth. We spoke to a couple of mates about ending this podcast because we were just like, it isn't, again, it's the financials and kind of like talking it through and have sounding boards with just a very few people who we trust in comedy. Sadly, be that as it may, that involved Freddie Quinn. Still don't know how he's become my sort of person I go to after you, but this is the world we live in. I would like to take a moment to say how completely unbelievable the Dead Men Talking Boys have been with this. They did absolutely everything to try and keep this going. They offered us their studio for free. Along the way, they have offered us so much guidance and support. The Dead Men Talking team have been unreal with all of this and couldn't have tried to help us more, couldn't have been more vocally supportive, but also literally supportive with offering us ways to keep this going. There just wasn't a version of the world where getting to Horridge made this sustainable, because it isn't. Are we allowed to say they're recording Horridge? Yeah, we are.
So they're not the Beatles.
Pardon?
They're not the Beatles.
Yeah, no, I figure.
Yeah,
and they've got a lock on the door and stuff.
Yeah, I think
we're fine. Also, I can't imagine anyone wanting to go into that studio, voluntarily. But
empty packets of cheddar cheese crackers.
They are, I know they're Horrid Boys. I know that's their brand. I know they want you to think that they're vile and awful, but they happen to be
actually wonderful
solid
men.
Gold diamond men. So we do just want to thank Dead Men Talking Boys for falling over themselves to be good mates to us. And they have been. So thanks for that. And we're also not just going to make this one whole hour of farewelling, because that's
really depressing.
Dull. And it also is like an in memoriam reel at the Oscars, and we're not really that.
And also Ben is here, by the way.
Also Ben is here.
I've just realised this is probably the longest Ben's gone. We're not talking.
No, Ben, how are you feeling?
I'm okay.
No, about the podcast ending, love, not just in general.
Yeah, it's sad, but sad. It's fine. I've really enjoyed doing it. And I think it was doing really well. And someone came over to me yesterday and went, "Have you been on top yet?" Who was listening to the pod? I was like, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Stupid question.
Big Ben now.
But yeah, it's sad. but more things on the horizons.
More things on the horizon, indeed. And it's true, actually. Me and Kay have been talking about, you know, what we're up to. But like Ben's also got very exciting things.
Yeah, massively.
And it is something that I thought about. That do you ever? I don't know if anyone on the pod listens to. Do you ever listen to Elizabeth Day's How to Fail?
No.
It's a podcast. She's so brilliant. And again, it's about failure and thing. And I do think there's
Which we haven't done.
Well, no, exactly. But that's what I mean. But it in how people view them and what people take at the time to be failures, and then they look back on. And even this ending, I think to have done this like we've done it for 10 months, have got the feedback that we have, had the messages from all you guys, it's just been the loveliest thing in the world. And actually to walk away from something being wholly proud of a product I believe never dropped its integrity, or at least what we wanted it to be and how we wanted to do it, I'm sort of delighted by. But it's also really exciting that we now don't have this once a week anchor. And I don't want it to sound like an abusive relationship, but like there is a thing where you do a podcast, and especially for people who are comedians, our lives are all over. We, you know, I mean, Jesus Christ, we were just talking about my last week was Penzance, Bridgewater, Burton-upon-Trent and Oxford.
None of which I've ever been to any of them places.
Oh, many people haven't. And but to have this anchor, I think, in as much as it's a lovely thing, I think none of us are at a place where actually the anchor is really where we're at. I've spoke to you about this. I've been toying with the idea of, obviously I was in London for a while, but I don't know whether I should belong in Liverpool anymore. We've said about whether I potentially am thinking of kind of, like probably Bridgewater.
Obviously, it's my dream.
Yeah.
It is my dream. But there's been, you know, I think as well, the mindset that I'm in is so different from mindsets I've been in previously, which is that I'm just, and we've said this about just trusting the universe, and that these things got to happen, and this ending just makes room for something else.
That's how I feel.
And you know, and I think. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where my career is going, or whether I'm even going to, you know, continue doing stand-up at such a level.
I wanted to ask about this. I was just so interested, and I'm interested because I think something people will relate to, is having a wobble with your career, having a real genuine wobble with your career, or in our case, for a lot of creatives, it's kind of performs part of your identity.
Yeah.
The career identity line is so blurred when you're a creative or an artist. I hate that. But why do you think you're having a wobble? What do you think the wobble's coming from?
I don't know. I think I think I know that I belong in the entertainment industry because, you know, I did a job over Christmas that was not just like a muggle job that you have to keep going. It was a big girl job.
Yeah.
It was a career.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was.
Accident.
It was
completely and utterly by accident.
It was someone else's career. Yeah.
And I did it, and I was good at it, and I know I can do it. But I just hated it because it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then it's that moment of going, oh fuck, I really don't have a choice. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, is a fucking pain in the arse because it's not fun. No, it's fun. It's not. What's
easy.
the word? It's not. It's just not. It's not easy.
sensible.
It's not sensible.
It's not sensible. If anyone here can envisage a life without their creative pursuits, do it.
Yeah. But I think I do love stand up, of course I do, but I think it is just so hard. There's not a roadmap. You can't. And I like seeing. Not. I don't know how to explain this, but as I think I've said this before, in a job you have performance reviews, and you can see where you're going, and you can see what the next steps are. And with stand up, you're literally blindfolded and you're going for it. And obviously, you know, shock. I don't come from money. Who knew? But like, I don't have, you know, I've been financially independent since I was 18, and I don't have, not that I'm saying you do, I'm not saying that.
No,
but
I know, but there are a lot of people in stand-up who the safety net has been there from the off.
And I don't,
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
have that.
It's also the people who can do Edinburgh. You're like, wait, what? I mean, yeah.
I don't have that, and I don't have, you know, I'm scraping really. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional. I know I do this.
No, but I just think it's a really interesting thing to talk about because
I'm also just really tired.
And we're all fucking knackered. But I think I've seen it in any industry, and my mates, even like back home, who picked the financial stability.
Yeah.
My mates came out of university and picked the management consultant thing and the graduate scheme and the teach first or whatever it was, and actually get to a point and you go, is this it? Is the house I built the one I want to live in?
Yeah.
Have I built the right house?
And
I was your age. I hadn't found stand-up at your age, so I was your age when I was falling. Me and acting were having a relationship crisis.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting.
I love stand-up, and when I do it, it's just the not knowing, and it's so hard when you feel like we've spoken about you being, and obviously you're so much further along in your career than me, and which obviously you've been going for so much longer and whatever, but it does sometimes feel like you're, or even when you do feel like you're progressing, something happens and you're back to you feel like you're back to square one, or you're not,
or it was all for nothing,
or you just can't get in with the right people, or like you're not, you know, it's so difficult. And I think a lot of podcasts, obviously the Hathaway boys, when they started, were already established comedians. Dead Men Talking, same. Hot Waters Green Room, same. Like whereas I'm not, and I don't know where I am. And it's also, again, you don't want to play the whole woman card, but there are people that I see doing things. You know, and try not to be too specific.
I know. Yeah.
But you are a bit like, you've got that because you're fun to do a bag of coke with.
Yeah.
And you're just, and it's just so irritating.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is irritating.
It's
also that thing, and I think we've spoken to each other, or I've certainly lectured you about it, is comedy is as whatever, we'll say and give a comedy definition, but comedy is largely about relatability.
Yeah.
It's largely about relatability. Like the people you have coming up to you after a gig, most of the time, not all, it's a lovely little split, I hope, but are women. Being like, oh my God, I think that. Oh my God, that's how I feel. And if you're in an industry where all the bookers are men, and the people who have traditionally made the decisions, that is not to say they are anti-us, or they're blockers, or they're not interested, or they're not supportive. Excuse me, I'm dying. The boys are funnier to them. The boys are funnier to them, and I get that because they speak to what they hear and what they have and what they know, and it's of course it's that. So those frustration times are when I remember having it about your point in your career, in my career. I just got back to London, and you just have one of those gigs where you're like, at the time I was like, couldn't have gone better, could not have gone better, and there was no follow up. There was no like, Hat, come in for another 10. Hat, we'd like to pay you next time. When can we get you in? Nothing. And you just go, you have those moments of, what can I do? What can I do? How do I? And unfortunately for you and all of us, actually, I will say this: that never stops.
No.
That really never stops. I'm still doing things. I mean, this week I had a couple of gigs that were wonderful, and a couple of gigs where I was like, oh God, was that sticky? Like, did I quite pitch that? And you're with people whose opinion matters enormously to you, and you kind of are this puppy, just like, did you like it? Did you like it? Joan Rivers has this thing about the more you do comedy, the more bad experiences you have, the more bad shows you have, the more bad nights you have. Another patch of your skin turns to leather. Bit by bit, a patch of your skin turns to leather. So by the time you've been going a long time, you can't even feel it anymore.
Yeah.
And I believe that. I watch the really, really, really top comics, and they of course they have dodgy gigs. Of course they do. We all do. You're never beyond it. You are never beyond a dodgy gig. They just can't feel it as much.
Yeah.
It just doesn't hurt them as much.
Yeah, and I think when you are at a point, if you have a dodgy gig, you can kind of go, it's a one-off, it's the audience, it's the setup, whatever it is. Whereas I'm still at a point where if I had a bad gig, my first call is, well, I'm a bad comedian.
Bad comedian, yeah, because you don't have the foundation of I know I'm not, even though you should know that you're not.
But then obviously as well, because a lot of my past like year or so has been so thingied towards theatre and acting, which is wonderful. And I love it. So, but again, it's the same. Like I don't know. Like I'm doing this tour now, which is incredible and amazing, and I've already had quite exciting comments and things said, and opportunities there. But this ends in mid-April, and I don't know what I'm gonna do in mid-April. Like I don't know what comes next, and it's just so fucking. Do you know what I'd love? Just give me a part on Corrie. Make Ben's dream come true, and then
we'll get you on that Corrie tour,
I'll have a contract, and I can just be there. Like,
and
also I know I get bored because then I did it with Magic Mike. But like, it's just, and I know that on one hand this is so exciting, and my friend, I was saying this to your camera, I said I was going to say this. We had press night for Rita Sue the other night, and I got some really wonderful and lovely comments of people that opinion again means a lot. And my friend Kimberly Hotson, who was in Corrie.
Who did you play?
I don't know.
What's her name?
Kimberly Hart Simpson. She was something.
Kimberly from Corrie.
She was something to do with Daniel a while ago. I think it was just after Sinead died.
Ooh, oh yes, I know who she is.
Yes.
Well, she wasn't in it for long though, was she?
I don't know.
Don't think she was.
Hey, longer than any of us have been in it.
That's a good point. Not longer than not.
Anyway,
we will be in it.
Yeah. Exactly. Now that we're free, we can do that.
I'm actually sending my application now.
But Kimberly is wonderful, and she's best mates with Jess in the show, and I've worked with Kim before, and she's great. She said something to me. Do you know when it's almost as if someone's read your mind and kind of answers a question that you haven't asked yet, but do you know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
I had some really lovely comments. It was beautiful, but I'd felt a little bit underconfident going in because I'm working with this cast of people. I'm not trained. And I know that sounds, but like it's one of them things. You always just kind of feel a bit like, oh god, this is
Are they all trained?
Yes.
Jake Quickenden isn't, surely.
No, Jake Quickenden isn't, but he's Jake Quickenden.
Sure.
Who, by the way,
train that body.
Who, by the way, is a dream, and I absolutely adore him, and I love him. Anyway, and Kim said to me, she was like, you were absolutely brilliant. And I was like, thank you. And she went, no, I mean it. You were brilliant. And she said to me, oh my god, again, I'm gonna get emotional. What the fuck?
No, I like this.
But she said to me, she said loads of lovely things about how like you said, relatable and stuff. I am. Oh my god!
You can't cry when you're drinking. Have water.
Okay.
That's actually a science. You cannot cry if you're drinking water.
Is that true?
Yeah. That's why you should always have one at a funeral. Just
okay.
Something about the like swallowing or something. Yeah.
But anyway, she said to me, she was like, you deserve a seat at this table, and please don't ever think that you don't, because what you did tonight proves, and what you're doing proves that you deserve a seat at this table.
Good.
And it just meant a lot.
Well, I hope you hold on to it.
Yeah,
I hope you hold on to it, because I also think that's a really me and my girls who like my female peers. I know you don't have any, which is also really interesting. You don't have any female peers in comedy.
Oh, I thought you meant in general.
No,
I was like, that's
so mean. Yeah, because I know you don't have any friends. One thing we've learned about Kay on this podcast is
friends.
Zero pals. But no, I mean female peers in comedy was obviously because I started in Chicago. I have that. I have a group of them.
Oh, like
the
I
girls.
said, people I started with.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on to
you. You don't have any.
So I was going to say, aren't you my peer?
No, I was saying like the ones who were in your class who were coming through with you. Like,
no, I don't have anyone.
And we have talked about this so much, about the idea that I think it might be the last sort of bastion left over of not even the last, but one of the slight hangovers of a patriarchal industry, which is when you see a girl doing well, I hope all our instincts are to be like, especially if it's our mate, be like, fucking great.
Yeah.
But there's another thing that comes in off the back of that, which is, fuck, that seat's gone now. And it's nonsense.
Oh,
it is
totally.
absolute nonsense. You just pull up another one.
Yeah.
You just pull up another one. There is room for us all. It's the most exciting thing in the world, especially right now. But I'm glad she said that too, and I'm glad because I think that's part of it. Is I think part of the reason, and it's so funny because I think if you wrote you and me down on paper, you would assume that I'm the person who likes structure and a kind of formalized meritocratic system of almost like school. Like you got an A, you got a B, you got a C. You know, but actually, to me, where you are is the most exciting thing in the world, which is to be like, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea where it's going to go. That's so fucking great. I get so claustrophobic so quickly. And the best thing about comedy for me, and I know I am different on this one, even compared to the boys, I'm very different on this one. Not looking around is the greatest freedom in the world. Give a fuck what everyone else is doing. In the nicest possible way, I'm rooting for them all and I love it when my mates do well. But like, give a fuck. Even the podcast, like, you, the boys, every single boy with a mouth has a podcast. And we have at every stage of this questioned it and been like, do you want to do this? Do you want to be a podcaster? Is this what you want? Does it fit your life? We're really questioning it. We're making sure that we're not just doing it because everyone else is like, you've got to have a pod. You've got to have a pod. It's like, well, maybe I don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe we don't have to have a pod right now. Maybe there's a version of it where it comes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's the greatest freedom in the world to not look around.
That was another one of my anxieties. I didn't tell you this.
Fantastic. I'm sorry about the coughing, by the way. I am working really hard on it.
Also, I love the fact that you've announced that you're pregnant and I'm the one crying.
No, but I'm...
When you... so do you remember we had the anxieties of the week where we were both saying that we thought
the other person would be there without us,
Do you know I had a genuine... I couldn't sleep with the night.
God, why?
Because I thought you were starting a podcast with someone else.
Oh my God.
And I genuinely thought...
I know, you were just going to see it on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was going to end and Hatty's going to do a podcast with someone else.
Bit more, babe.
Yeah, and it's going to be like the biggest podcast in the world, and she's going to go do live shows around the world. And I am not.
I will have been the anvil.
I genuinely.
Oh my God, okay.
I genuinely had a moment where I thought, and I was like, oh my God. And do you know why I've just thought that?
Why?
Because obviously you're going for lunch in a bit. I don't know why it was.
Yeah.
And then a little part of my brain went,
this is it.
He's going to get to bed.
This is it. Can you imagine? I'm going to get proposed to. I'm going to get pod proposed to. Do you know what is so funny about that?
Because our brains are mental.
Because our brains are mental. Do you know what is so funny about where you're at with stand-up? It's not funny. And I'm so respect enormously that you've been very honest about it. Because no, I just think a lot of people are...
Yeah.
Come across those moments where you just kind of go, is this what I want? And I'm actually so much more impressed by the people who question it rather than people who just go, la 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 la, yeah, no, I'm happy. As we've talked about, when I moved to Liverpool, that was the first time I'd lived in a flat that was mine, well, it's not mine, I rent it, but like that is my name on the rental, that is my bills that I pay in 9 years. And because I'd flitted around and moved to Chicago and come back and then moved in with mates and gone hit, like I'd just gypsied around for all that time. And I'd said, I was like, my biggest concern about doing this is I'm going to get itchy feet. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to move in, do all this, put my posters up and pictures and my books and have it all. And then be like, and lo and behold, she gets pregnant. And over the last few months, I've been like, oh, it's happening. It's happening again.
Really?
I was like, not now. And I've sort of had to really sit with myself and be like, right, you can't, that stage of your life has to be over to a point. It has to be, because it's not about you anymore. And there's this other little friend who's going to turn up. But I do think that will be a big part of our first year together. I think I'm going to, even just so far as I have a job at the end of the year. We both have a job at the end of the year, actually. Me and my little friend have been offered a job at the end of the year. Which
The baby's not working.
It is.
It's not.
You best believe it is. And it involves a lot of traveling and driving around. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, there really was like oh, thank God, this kind of satiates that. And as much as there's eye raising, and obviously my parents are like, are you sure? I was like, I'm so sure. Because actually, that's absolutely my instinct at the moment is to go get off and go see things.
And I get that because I've for the first time in so long, feel the exact same.
And I had never felt it until I was your age. I'd been I think I told you this, I was with someone at the time about your age, and we were in a long-term relationship, at least it felt very long at the time. I had a flat
3 days.
Fulham. Yeah.
3 nights.
I'd got it past the 4th day. We were together ages. And the breakup was because I suddenly went, oh my God, I've been so attached to the plan and the routine and what was going to happen next and what's going to happen next and that I never questioned it. I never questioned, do you want this? Do you like him? Is he the person? And it was only when I went, oh my God, you're 4.5 years in and you've been so dogged about the plan that you never stop to question the plan. You never start to ask if you liked the plan. And that's when life got real fucking fun. And that's when I know I joke about 2016 having blown my life to smithereens, but it's the best thing I ever did. And I'm not saying you will. You aren't someone who do that. You're too measured and you're too careful. But I think I really respect and respond to, and I hope that you have the bollocks to fuck it all off. If you want to, fuck it all off and just throw caution to the wind and do something wild. Because I think if what currently middle of April represents to you is end of a cliff, where you're like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just the abyss, the other side of it. You've got to PR it.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And it's absolutely everything. So I just think, chuck it at the wall, see what sticks. Do you know what I mean? Like really just go for it. I think is a really exciting thing to do.
Keep thinking about cruises, and I don't know why.
We can go harder than cruises, I think.
I keep thinking
You
is
just
I
wanna
wanna
go
get
on a
a job on a
cruise.
cruise. I don't know why I want to get a job on a cruise, but at the minute I'm hyper fixated on the fact that I want to
You
get a
really
job on a
love
cruise.
what's the word I'm looking for? Like consistency, or like a plan, like order. That's when I'm looking, order and structure.
Yeah, because I didn't have any.
That's interesting.
Again,
that's the
that
thing, isn't
is.
it? Because I had so much.
I had none. Which is, apart from my mother being controlling, but that wasn't so much order as it was terror, which is not the same.
Are they?
Just ask North Korea. But like, I'm so
That's so funny.
I'm so scared, and it's because I'm so scared of living up to my upbringing stereotype, and I'm like, the only way that I can do that is I have to be like.
Do you know what is so funny?
Oh.
Is I reckon mine's the same.
Yes. Oh my God. You
Isn't
don't
that
live up to-
funny?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and I see it because like when I of occasion, and it's very rare that I'm out with like girls I went to school with, because I literally have like 2 mates from school. Hit me.
Can I come on one of these? Can I be there for one of them?
It would be like the fucking zoo. It would be like a fucking zoo.
Please.
You would literally be like, wait, what? I mean,
I want to.
I sometimes sit there and I listen to the conversations and I get this like, oh God, like it's like all my clothes are getting tighter on me. And my mum has said this before. She's like, sometimes I feel you're doing everything possible to not be like this, rather than, and I don't think she's right, but I think it's a very similar thing, which is I'm so worried about being like everyone else I grew up around.
Yeah.
That she's out here being a fucking single mummy gypsy up in Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And like, but so you too, you're like,
I'm so terrified. I can't.
what is that to you? What is that? And this is not to slag off your mates or whatever, because I don't think
It's not my.
I think
it's
all
not
your
even
mates
my
are doing so
mates.
brilliantly.
It's not even my mates.
It's just the people you grew up around.
It's just more. I was actually talking to Jay Crichton in a video.
No, sure.
About this the day about the
Where's he
the
from?
feeling Jake's from Scunthorpe.
God, okay, right, yeah.
Not a same, like quite a low class upbringing. But my thing is that I don't have any connections in this industry. Like I've kind of had to just, I've got all my own work, and then kind of from this, and Jake's been great, and he's put me with good people, and we've got a plan.
Yeah.
If he wants to try a sitcom, it's a whole thing. And I think my kind of thing is that I don't want to just be another kind of, a decent-ish job that is just a job with, a child and a fella, and we go on hopefully, if we're doing well, one abroad holiday a year, and that kind of, I don't know, we argue because he spends all his money on a season ticket, and he goes to the pub on the weekends, and I kick off because he, you know, leaves on Friday night and I don't see him until Monday morning. And this just the thing
pattern.
that I know, and the thing that I've seen, and I get that is a lovely life. I'm sure.
No. It is absolutely the life some people want.
Yeah, and I completely get that, and I respect
there's no
that.
judgment, exactly. That,
But
you know, for you.
But I know, and like not even to actually do with finances or money. But I was at, I don't know if you spoke about this in here. I went to be really careful what I say because I don't want to single out who or where this was. But I was at a party for an occasion.
Oh, I know who it is.
I know it is.
Kate never goes to parties. I know exactly who it is. It was Ben's birthday party. Here he goes. He's getting it in the neck.
But I was in. We were sat around, and I didn't really know any. I went for the persons whose occasion it was. Me and David went, and this girl was sat there, and she was talking. It's a lovely girl, but boring as fucking a brick wall. But she was talking, and she was like, and I said to her, you know, you can only have the 2 drinks tonight because we've got to get up to take Maisie to football at 8 o'clock. That's his niece. And she's got to get up to take him to football. And I said, you're not going to be able to if you have more than 2 beers. I know what you like. And then I've got to take Monday morning off because I've got to go to the dentist. But it's all right because Darren says I can just... And she was just...
Did you just get the like...
And then she was going... And then, you know, she was saying, she's like... So then we've got the plasterer coming round on Thursday. So, and then with the house, and then, you know, we were going for the new garden furniture, and I'm just so excited to get this. Can you imagine a little glass of rosé in the summer sat in the garden furniture? And I was just listening to her, and I was like, I'm going to throw up. I was like, how? And it's so mad because on one hand, I'm jealous of the fact that she has this house with her partner that she knows what's going to make her happy. But I was also just watching her going, this can't be it. This can't be
for you.
For me.
Yeah.
I can't. That there has to be. There's more.
But babe, that's
there
why,
has to be. She was 25.
No, I know.
I was. There has to be more. Like there just has to be. I just can't.
But what you've got to remember, and it took me a long time to realise it, is that makes people really happy. I had to stop going on hen do's, and my mates know that. All the girls know that I don't do hen do's, and because to me, I don't know what it is about hen do's. They really stress me out. But what I realised after I stopped slagging them off and was like, this is so much. For a lot of women, a bit like you were saying with what you didn't have was structure and order, and what you now kind of often look for is structure and order to a point, you know, within this chaotic thing. For a lot of women, having a fella who is there and loves them and is consistent and stable and unchanging offers this sort of shelter and this safety and this haven that they, whatever, if the world is a bit scary or their job is a bit, they get to go home to. And I realised that, to me, that's all the things that scare me. Something that is unchanging, something I'm anchored to, something that I can't really get out of easily, something that, do you know what I mean? And you've just got to go, you're not right. I'm right. I hope I'm right for me. I hope I live in my integrity and what I want. It doesn't mean they're wrong. Those instances are always so interesting.
Yeah.
When you find yourself confronted with them and you just that shock of, this is what she wants.
Yeah.
This is what she wants. And she's picking out her garden furniture because that's what she wants. And you being like, oh my God, oh God, oh my God.
Well, a fella was 100% doing cocaine in the toilet. Like he was doing cocaine in the toilets. It was very obvious.
Oh, God bless him. I had a friend. Her fella did coke at the baby's christening. His baby's christening.
I'm from North Liverpool. That's not shocking.
But that's a man who didn't want the life he's got. Like he's at some like.
None of them do.
So this is my point, which is so many people are living in a life, and to use the analogy, they built a house they don't like.
Yeah.
They don't like, and I think we are so lucky. not in a lot of ways. Financially, we're not, and like stability, we're not. Where you can ask these questions and there's no wild consequences. Like if you turn around in the middle of April and you go, I'm going on a cruise, it's 8 months or what the fuck ever, you just like, great. There's no one being like, and actually you can't. I'm like, well, what about me? Do you know what I mean? Emily will be furious. Emily will be at every stop on the cruise.
Emily will be at every single stop of the cruise.
Emily will be in your backpack.
Yeah, in my backpack. Yeah. I'll take Emily with me.
But there is, God, what absolute bliss. What absolute bliss. And again, by the way, that's some people's nightmare.
Yeah.
What that could be. I think I've told you, but did I tell you about this when I went? I was out with I was on holiday. This is the most West London thing I've ever said. I was in South France for a wedding and with all my West London mates, like with everyone, we were all out there. And the wedding was beautiful. It was 2 very good friends of mine. It was really, and it was as much as I was out there with like some of my closest mates. We had a great time. And the next day we're in the pool. Sure. And the boys were like, the boys turned around, they were like, so Hat, when are you go home? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just going to keep going till the money runs out, and I'm going to do San Sebastian. I'm going to do Saint-Jean-de-Luz. I'm going to do Toulouse and just see how. And they were like, no, but when's your like actual flight home? I was like, no, I don't have that. I'll keep going, and then when the money's gonna. And they were like, no, but like when do you have to be home? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't have to be home. There's nothing there. Like there's no job that I have to do. There's no person with a, clipboard being like, well, actually you said you were going to be away for 2 weeks, but you were away for 4. Like, and I really watched them kind of go, what? It was so unfathomable. It was so completely incalculable to them that I was like, no, I'm here now. And I'll be here till I can't be here any longer, and I have to go home and get another waitressing job. But and I was the happiest. That's one of my happiest summers I've ever had in my whole life. And I realised,
how long were you there for?
Wasn't that long in the end. I'd had a real classic Hatty Preston blaze of glory, and I'd quit my job talk about burning bridges. I burnt infrastructures. Do you know what I mean? I was like, it was that stage of my life where I was just on one. And then fucked off to France for ages. Don't know how long it was in the end. Probably not quite, probably a month-ish. I don't remember. Something like that. So it wasn't ages. But they couldn't believe that was what I had. And I was so happy. This like structureless kind of looked to them like chaos. And I was never more like still and happy and calm and just in my own company and in my own like.
See that I like that kind of chaos.
Yeah.
My kind of chaos, I mean more like
drug dealers in a back alley. Yeah. We can work on that though, baby.
That's just the chaos I'm trying
rebranding chaos.
Yeah,
we're rebranding chaos because you can still have. I'm very ordered. I'm very organised, which means that within that, I can be chaotic.
Organised chaos.
Because I know we need you to pass your driving test, babe. World's going to open up. We're going to pass your driving test this year. That's what it's going to be.
Why the hell are you bringing that up?
No, because I just think that's exciting. That's exciting.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. That's exciting. It's going to happen this year. I just feel it in my Yeah, it really is. And then it's just going to be like, you can go to Burton upon Trent whenever you want.
That is one thing I am genuinely concerned that I'm just never going to be a proper comedian until I can drive, and I'm very aware of that. And Freddie Quinn's also very aware of that because he tells me all the time. And
it's going to happen this year.
Well,
mark my words.
To be fair though, now this is ending, the money that I was spending on this can go on driving lessons, because the reason I couldn't afford driving lessons anymore was because of this.
So fuck you, podcast. Kay's gonna drive. Woohoo!
I need.
Yes, Kay. Yes! Ben's going to go on loads of corridors. You're going to learn to drive. I'm going to have some ginger bastard child. This year is popping off.
I can't believe you're having a baby.
I know, crazy. Ben, is there anything you want to say as we peace out of our sep?
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
And we do love you, and you've been the very best.
And keep coming over. If you see me in hot water, keep coming over, because it makes everyone dead jealous.
Yeah, don't forget our Ben, okay? Don't forget
me.
this.
Don't forget me. And it makes me very happy.
I love that. A bit much, Ben.
Go again.
Oh gosh, yes. Right, we're going to call it now and do a Patreon about hormones. Okay. Thanks for listening. Sorry if it was deep, but also, no, I'm not sorry at all.
Bye.
Bye.
We love you.